HornbillTV te Eastern Christian College Dimapur de ahi gene ase yere aji ahi gene thaka nishna itia moi laga piche de jai thaka Viksit Bharat Youth Parliament 2026 laga program jai ase kore at least 12 institutions to ahi gene yere partake kore ase aru almost 65 students ahi gene itu laga program de partake kore ase tai khan aji program jai thaka itu laga competition do ki ase koile to tai khan sob bi itu 50 years of emergency lessons for Indian democracy koi gene itu laga topic upor aji tai khan program jai ase bacha han ke aji inega uthi gene 50 years of emergency laga upor kotha kurole di ase alag alag institutions pra ahi gene program do yere ECC Eastern Christian College te attend kore ase apni han ke janai dibo itu laga program hoile do man saise kole do youth affairs Department, Government of Nagaland, in collaboration with Ministry of Youth Affairs, Aru Sports laga Ministry logre collaborate kuri gera itu jai ase. Tai khan itu laga program jai thaka nishna mani ta yere itu laga program la details sau.
My name is Dr. Dominic K. Kanyo. I am the principal of Eastern Christian College.
Sir, could you kindly let us know more about this Viksit Bharat program being organized in your institute and how many institutions are participating, the number of students?
Okay, this Viksit Bharat is a journey. India is going to celebrate its 100 years of independence in 2047. So, for that, the leaders, the government of the day, wants to make sure that by that time we are developed. But without the participants of the students, especially the youth, it's not possible. That's why the focus is on other aspects also, economy, children, women, of course, and this youth. So for that, this is being organized. We want to get the best youth to come forward, and we want the best to be our leaders in the future. We want our future to be safe. That's it. And there are altogether 12 colleges, and from Dimapur. This is particularly from Dimapur. At this time, they ensure that all of them will be from Dimapur. So there are around 12 institutions, exactly 12 institutions, and around 65 participants. Yeah. So through your channel, I would like to thank also those institutions, those principals who have responded well, and then this is what we need. Collaboration is what we need. And also through your channel, I wish that people would choose the right kind of leaders. And this is a process. We're grooming them, we're nurturing them right now. But in the long term, in the future, we should understand, we should be reasonable so that the team, 50 years of emergency, lessons for Indian democracy. So we have learned a lesson enough, so we will not repeat again. That's what I hope and I wish, and you will also do the same thing.
So this Viksit Bharat program, this Viksit Bharat Youth, this is for Dimapur. So is there this kind of program going on in other districts now?
Yes. As of last year, only 3 districts were chosen. It's like cluster. So 3-4 districts put into one. They call it nodal district. But this time they have given it all the districts. So Of course, in other parts of the country, as you know, the population is huge. Districts, even the district size is huge. So for them, it's reasonable. But for us, it's a bit difficult also. But since Dimapur is an urban area, so we have enough colleges. So, but the points remain the same. It's been organized in all the districts in Nagaland. Yeah.
So this program is mandatory, right? And your college decided to host it this time?
Oh, by the way, let me tell you this one. This is been sponsored, organized by the Department of Youth Affairs, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sport. Now, this is from above. Instead, this is from the government. We are instructed, and they may or they will select one from the main institution. So we are so fortunate that this is the second time we are getting. Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Do you know what is the ultimate goal of Viksit Bharat? The answer, very briefly, is to elevate India to the status of developed country by the year 2047, which will also mark the 100th anniversary of India's independence. This aspiration rests on 4 key pillars: Yuva, youth; Garib, poor; Mahilaएं, women; and farmers. These pillars represent the key demographic and occupational groups whose empowerment and progress are central to India's development. In plain and simple terms, Viksit Bharat means an India where a young people do not have to travel or leave the country to find opportunities. An India where made in India is a global standard of quality. An India where poverty is a thing of the past and the middle class is the majority. An India that leads the world not just in population, but also in its potentials. In other words, it is a blueprint for the India that you, the youths, will inherit and lead. Now, to today's theme of the Parliament. Today's Youth Parliament was launched in 2019, as you all know, is part of the first pillar, Yuva, the youth. This is done to encourage the youth to engage in political dialogue, that is to become and act out as sensible and meaningful citizens. Today's theme is particularly pertinent to the time that we live in. 50 years ago, India faced one of its darkest hours. On 25th June 1975, the then Prime Minister of India, Indira Gandhi, unilaterally declared a state of emergency, and for 21 months, from June 25th, 1975 to March 21st, 1977, the Constitution of India was suspended. Fundamental rights, the rights which you take it for granted, ceased to exist. You could not speak freely, you could not write freely, you could not even question freely. Thousands were arrested without any reasons. The press was silenced. And fear became the language of the land. And indeed, the situation today is no different, even though no such emergency has been officially declared. Simply put, civil and political rights and liberties of people were brutally suppressed. Arbitrary and mass arrest of political rivals, press censorship, and the functioning of the secret police system are some of the well-known features of that period. 2 amendments, the 39th and the 42nd Amendment, were also made to the Constitution to undermine the power of the judiciary with the sole aim of altering the balance of power in favor of the Parliament. Now, you might ask, why dig up the past? Why reopen the old wounds? Well, because, you see, democracy is not a destination. It is a daily practice. It is not something you achieve once and keep it forever. It is like, to use an analogy, your shoes. It needs constant polishing to keep it shining, right? You cannot expect your shoes never to get dirty or to lose its shine. You cannot expect that once you have polished your shoes really, really well, it will forever remain shiny. So much in the same way, the Constitution, democracy, has to be protected every single day, everyday citizens must engage themselves, involve themselves in order to protect the Constitution. That is why the emergency of 1975 reminds us of the fragility of democracy and that no constitution, however great, can protect itself. It needs citizens just like you and I who cares. It needs young people like you who are willing to ask hard questions. It needs a generation that values freedom more than comfort. You are here as part of the Viksit Bharat mission. You are dreaming of an India that is developed, modern, and prosperous by 2047. That is no doubt a beautiful dream. But let me ask you this question. What good is Viksit Bharat, developed India? What good is Viksit Bharat if its citizens cannot speak their minds? What good is Viksit Bharat if in India, if the judiciary cannot protect the weak? What good is Viksit Bharat if its people are afraid of its own government? The emergency reminds us that freedom is the foundation and everything else is built upon it. Hence, as you take part in this session today, remember that you are not just playing a game. You are practicing citizenship. You are learning how to disagree without being disloyal. You are learning how to question without being destructive. You are learning how to lead without losing sight of those you lead. And as you step into these sessions, remember that the future of India rests with youths like you who are willing to ask the right questions and defend the Constitution, which for Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar is a moral institution. Thank you, all the best to all, and have a pleasant session ahead.
Now, why I mentioned parliament, why it is there? Because if a state has to develop, then there has to be governance. Within governance, you know, the state comprises of 4 elements. Government is there, sovereignty, territory, people. Now, the focus is on the government. But the most effective organ of the government is the legislature. They determine what we eat, what we wear. They determine the course or destiny of a nation. That's why parliament, you will be our future leader. The question I want to ask is that, are we in a safe hands? Do we have trusted leader? Do we have dynamic leader? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. We are asking now. And the government of the day, the vision leaders, they want to know. They want to train, orient, select the best of the best. They want to select the deserving. Today, the participants here, they're not here because they happen to be from a particular clan, kin, from a particular parentage. This process of selection, selecting the best, this is a fair process. We want to select the best from all land and breadth of the country, throughout, starting from the districts. If you want to select the best from the country, not necessarily from the urban areas, not necessarily from one zone, not necessarily from the northern India or South India, it has to be from all corners of the country. So district-wise, we represent just one part. We represent one state. We represent one district. So here we are. Now, what is important now next? Who is going to judge? That is also very important. And I'm so honored, so thankful. I'm so humbled by the response that we got and by the people who are here. They've already been introduced, but let me just highlight once again. All these 4 personalities here right now, they come from different background. Very interesting. I don't want to name it, but you will know it. One studied in America, been there. In terms of exposure, he would have something, some inputs. One studied in Delhi, some of the best institution. One is from here, our in-house product, but an outstanding student, a gold medalist. And one is another breed, another category, which during my time, we'll say, what is he doing here? An entrepreneur. We are going in that direction. So they represent different backgrounds, different experiences. And so I'm sure we have the most credible panel here today. So all that is left for me to say is that in keeping with the vision of all leaders, in keeping with the vision of this government, that if we want to make India great, then we have to focus on the youth, most important part. Another most important pillar, the poor, the women, and the farmers. Today, let's leave the tree aside, because the topic for us here is about youth parliament. So I believe and I hope that we will select the best 5 from among you, and you will all respect that decision. So with these few words, I wish you all the very best, and I'm looking forward to an exciting session. Thank you. God bless. Jai Hind.
The enduring relevance of the emergency. Honorable members, 50 years later, the emergency continues to occupy a unique space in India's constitutional memory. It serves simultaneously as a cautionary tale, as a testament to democratic resilience. It taught us that liberty can be fragile, the institution must be courageous, and the democratic values must be continuously defended. Thank you.
The national emergency was declared on 25th June 1975 under Article 352 of the Indian Constitution, citing internal disturbances. But the roots of this decision lie in the political and economic tensions of the early 1970s. India was facing rising inflations, unemployment, and growing dissatisfactions of the public. Student movements and protests in states like Gujarat and Bihar demanded political reforms and accountability. And one of the most influential voices during this time was Jaya Prakash Narayan, who called for a total revolution to reform the political system.
The emergency of 1975. Nearly 50 years ago, India faced a period that tested the strength and resilience of its democratic institution. The emergency remains as one of the most debated moments in our political history. Excuse me. However, it is not remembered because of what had happened during those years, but it is remembered because of the lessons it continues to provide in our democracy, even today. In the early 1970s, India was facing many challenges. The country had just recently fought the 1971 war. And at the same time, the global oil crisis led to severe inflation, and many economic hardships were affecting many citizens. During this moment, many political protests and social movements were spreading across the country, creating a climate of uncertainty. And against this backdrop, the government, led by the then Prime Minister, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, declared a state of emergency under constitutional provisions on 25th June 1975, arguing that strong measures were needed to maintain national order and stability. However, this emergency also raised some serious concerns. Fundamental rights were suspended, the freedom of press was restricted, and many political leaders and activists were detained without any trial. Yet, the story did not end there. The elections were held again on 1977, and the people of India demonstrated their democratic powers through the ballot box.
Itiagane ho ayadin khane inega report ani thagibo ke Christine Camera person Johnson, Hornbill TV, Dimapur.